You ever notice how the loudest voice in your head isn't even yours? It's the one that whispers, "She's better than you. He's ahead. You're falling behind." And somewhere between scrolling through someone else's highlight reel and staring at your own reflection, you forget the most important truth of all. You were never supposed to be them. You were only ever meant to be you. But we've forgotten that, haven't we? We've traded our own story for everyone else's edited version. And that's where the pain begins. Let me tell you about a boy who almost lost himself trying to become someone else. His name was Ethan. And if you met him, you'd probably like him. Hardworking, kind, the type who'd help you carry your groceries without being asked. But inside, Ethan was drowning, not in water, but in comparison. Every single day, he woke up and measured his life against someone else's ruler. His friend Liam. Straight A's, every test, every time. Ethan would sit in class, staring at his B-, thinking, "I'll never be that smart." His neighbor Ryan drove a car that looked like it belonged in a music video. Ethan rode a bike with a squeaky chain. "I'll never have what he has." Even the guy who jogged past his house every morning, Ethan would watch him disappear down the road and think, "I can't even run like that." And the worst part, none of it was true, but it felt true. And feelings, my friend, they don't need facts. They just need you to believe them, so Ethan believed. And slowly, quietly, he started to fade, not physically, but emotionally. He stopped trying, stopped dreaming, stopped seeing himself at all. Because when you spend all your time looking at someone else's life, there's no space left to live your own. One afternoon, an old man came to the village. People called him Grandpa Joe. He didn't have money, didn't have a fancy house, but he had something better, wisdom that didn't need a microphone to be heard. Ethan found him sitting under a tree, carving a piece of wood, humming softly to himself. And for reasons he couldn't explain, Ethan sat down beside him. "Grandpa," Ethan said, voice barely above a whisper, "I work so hard. I really do. But no matter what I do, I'm just not enough. I see people around me winning and I'm still stuck." Grandpa Joe didn't look up. He just smiled. A small, knowing smile. Then he said, "Meet me tomorrow morning at the old oak tree by the forest edge. Bring only yourself." Nothing else. The next morning, Ethan arrived before the sun had fully risen. The air smelled like pine and dew. Grandpa Joe was already there, standing with his hands behind his back, looking out at the forest like he was reading a book only he could see. "Tell me, son," Grandpa Joe said gently, "what do you see when you look at this forest?" Ethan scanned the trees, tall ones, short ones, fruit trees, bare ones. "I see a lot of different trees," he said. "Good. Now imagine," Grandpa Joe continued, voice soft as silk, "imagine the apple tree looked at the pine and said, 'Why can't I be as tall as you?' Or the oak looked at the cherry blossom and said, 'Why can't I be as beautiful?' What would happen?" Ethan almost laughed. "That would be ridiculous, would it?" Grandpa Joe turned to face him now, eyes kind but piercing. "Then why do you do the exact same thing every single day?" The words landed like stones in still water, rippling, spreading, sinking deep. The apple tree doesn't try to grow coconuts. The fish doesn't dream of wings. And the moon doesn't apologize for not being the sun. Grandpa Joe placed a weathered hand on Ethan's shoulder. "You, my boy, were never meant to be someone else. You were meant to be the very best version of you. And until you stop chasing their light, you'll never discover your own." Something cracked open inside Ethan that morning. Not loudly, not dramatically, but enough to let the light back in. He stopped scrolling through other people's lives and started writing his own. He stopped measuring his chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 20. He found what he was good at, not what the world said was valuable, but what made him come alive. And you know what? Slowly, beautifully, things started to shift. Years later, Ethan built something remarkable. Not because he copied anyone, but because he finally stopped trying to. People in his town would ask him, "How'd you do it? How'd you make it?" And every time he'd smile that same soft smile Grandpa Joe once gave him and say, "A fish that tries to fly will only ever feel broken, but a fish that owns the water, That fish can cross oceans, so here's what I want you to hear today, really hear. You are not late. You are not less. You are not losing. You're just on a different path. And that path, it's yours. No one else can walk it. No one else was meant to. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs the original you. So stop shrinking yourself to fit someone else's story. Your story is still being written. And trust me, it's going to be beautiful.